Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be starting a brand new series which is going to be a top 5 stories for each Doctor. It's mainly going to be New Who Doctors, but I might do it in the classic series if you guys want me to. And as you can see, today's episode is going to be my top 5 David Tennant stories. David Tennant is probably my second favourite Doctor, maybe even my favourite Doctor, I don't know. So this is just going to be a top 5 and hopefully you enjoy it. So in 5th place we have Midnight. Now the reason Midnight's in my top 5 is I just really like the concept of it. When I was about 7 I watched it for the first time and it's still obviously one of my favourite stories ever. I just really like how they're on this sort of Airbus thing and they're trapped. That's sort of my favourite story concept. And yeah, I really liked it how you never ever see the monster, you just hear it, and that was really good. I liked that because it was remaining a mystery, and what does the monster look like? It just lives in the shadows, but what does it look like out of that? And it was just really curious, and I really liked the storyline, especially how he sort of is debating at the start whether to go on the bus, but then he eventually does, and of course it leads into a whole lot of problems. But yeah, and a lot of the cast do very good, roles, and I especially liked Skye, as you can see now, who sort of gets possessed by the spirit, and then copies what everyone's saying, and then eventually she passes it on to the Doctor, and then everybody thinks they should throw him out, but originally they thought they should throw Skye out. So yeah, I really like how that sort of changes, and then at the end it gets away from the Doctor, and the Doctor's free, and when he finally leaves the Airbus, he's greeted with Donna, and then he's really sort of shocked at how that nearly, ended his life. And I also like how he went into the pilot's room, and there was 2 of them, and then they were looking at the planet, and then they had to shut the sun shields down because it was about to burn them. So I really liked Midnight. That's why I thought it deserved to be at number 5. On to number 4. Now in 4th spot we have the series 2 episode School Reunion. The reason I think I like this episode so much is that it's sort of relatable, the story, how they're in a school, and then, another reason I really like it is Rose is a dinner lady, and then there's sort of this acid that goes around the dinner ladies, and they don't like to show it when the acid accidentally spills on them because they turn into krillotines, which are these bat things, and they're actually really creepy. So, and then it turns out all the teachers are krillotines as well, and the head teacher is sort of the krillotine leader, and at the start the Doctor pretends to be a teacher so he can just spy around the place and investigate it, and here's the creepy head teacher who's a krillotine, and they all feast on the humans and stuff, and it's a bit creepy. So yeah, and another thing I really like about this episode is that it's unique, very standalone. And yeah, the music in this episode I quite like as well. There's one scene that I absolutely love, which you're about to see, an image of Elizabeth Sladen coming up soon. So it's the return of Sarah Jane Smith and K9, and there's a really cool scene when she's just standing there. She sees the TARDIS, then she turns around and the Doctor's behind her. So yeah, I really like that about this episode, and I thought I could place that at number 4 just because I really like it, and it's very unique, just like Midnight, but I probably prefer this slightly more than Midnight because I can sort of relate to it a bit more. So that is number 4, School Reunion. In at number 3 we have Partners in Crime, the opener to series 4, and it sees the first real episode with Donna in it. I know there was the Runaway Bride, but I'm not really counting that. It's sort of the introduction to Donna as a real character. And the reason this is so high up in my list is probably because it's the first ever Doctor Who episode I saw. I still have a place in my heart for this episode, and I really do like it with the adipose, and how they sort of go and investigate, and the Donna's looking for the Doctor, and then she eventually finds him, which I think is really cool about this episode, and it sort of relates to when the Doctor meets Martha. So I really like that about this episode. And on your screens now, you see the very cute-looking and huggable-looking creature, the adipose. They're basically fat that the fat-reducing pills, like, take off you. You know, they literally crawl out of your skin and they sort of walk the streets of London. And I like that about this episode. It's quite funny. And here we have the nanny of them, who's also like an alien, and she looks after them. And basically the adipose industry is where they work, and they basically make fat reducing pills to and their slogan is the fat just walks away, which it literally does, because once you've had them, the fat literally walks away from you, like comes out as an adipose. So that's a really good concept in my opinion, and I really like this episode. So that was number 3, Partners in Crime. Now we're into the top 2 David Tennant stories, and in second place, the runner-up is The End of Time Parts 1 and 2. This is such an emotional exit for David Tennant. I absolutely love this story, and I really like how, you think it's, somebody very evil who knocked 4 times, but then it just happens to be Wilf that knocked 4 times. And, it's Wilf that's going to kill the Doctor and not, a villain or the Master or something like that. And that's really, heartbreaking when you're watching the story, because Wolf's a very nice and relatable character. And part 1, I don't really like it as much as part 2. I really like how it has the return of the Ood, but I prefer part 2 because of the action and how he sort of falls out of the ship and goes into the Time Lord, council room. And the regeneration is, in my opinion, the best regeneration scene out of all of Doctor Who. Maybe Matt Smith's one is just about as good into Peter Capaldi, but I think it's the most emotional one, this one. They're both very emotional, but this one's slightly, I can sort of, watch it a bit more. I really like this story, and it's an incredible story, as it is at number 2. So that was number 2. We'll reveal the winner next, and that was The End of Time. So here we have the winner. My number 1 favourite David Tennant story is The Waters of Mars. Oh my, this is by far the best David Tennant story, in my opinion. It's literally by miles my favourite. I found it so creepy when I first watched it that autumn. The Flood are so creepy. I couldn't sleep for a few days when I was about 8. But I absolutely love this story. Rewatching it so many times, it just makes you appreciate it so much more. And the concept of the little robot and the crew on Mars, and the massive greenhouses where the water gets contaminated, and then the first character becomes a member of the Flood, as you can see on screen now. And then when they go to this massive sort of frozen lake, which is all infected water, and what I like about it is one drop touching you of that infected water will instantly turn you into a member of the Flood. Just one drop. And the Flood basically shoot water from their mouths and their hands. And then another thing I really like about this story is the Doctor realises that he can't save everyone, so he lets some of them die and become the Flood, but then he eventually, by the skin of his teeth and the robot, manages to save a few of them and bring them back to Earth in the TARDIS. And it's really clever how it's sort of back in time and they're meant to die, but he changes it and they don't die. So The Waters of Mars, absolutely spectacular. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it right now. That is my favourite David Tennant story, The Waters of Mars. What a story. So that's it for my top 5 David Tennant stories, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I don't know what new Who Doctor I'm going to do next. Probably Matt Smith, but it could be Christopher Eccleston. I don't know. As I say, if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to support it with a like and subscribe below if you haven't already. The support on the channel's been amazing recently. I think we've got 119 subs, so that's awesome. So I thank you guys for watching this video. There'll be many more great videos coming soon. Comment what classic Doctor you want to see me do first, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye!